So you're involved in all these projects. Do you sleep?
Sometimes I question that myself. And a lot of people ask me this question. I'm like, why do you do this?
Yeah.
Why are you so passionate about Bonita and what makes it unique?
Welcome to the next edition of the Bonita Buzz. Today, I'm always excited, but today I'm thrilled to welcome a true pillar of our community, Derrick Botana. And Derrick, you wear many hats in Bonita Springs. You recently ran for mayor,
That's
so
correct.
that
Yes.
is so
Hmm.
very exciting. And you're a chairperson of the Historical Society
Yep.
here in Bonita
Hmm.
Springs.
Yep.
And what else? Yeah, I know you have more.
Well, yeah. I've been involved with Conservation 2020
Okay.
for about 6 years now.
And what is that for the?
So, Conservation 2020 is a Lee County initiative that was created about 15 years ago, and it was actually one of the largest wins for the county. Basically, when a certain amount of your property tax that you pay
Uh-huh.
goes into a fund, and then that fund is stored to buy environmentally sensitive lands.
Oh,
So we're close to almost 35,000 acres now that
really?
has been purchased within Lee County.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's an awesome program.
Yeah.
And if there's anyone listening that has some really fascinating, wetland properties that they like to preserve, they can always position it to the county.
Really?
And then it goes before the committee that I'm on, and then we vote. And then if we approve it, then it goes to the commissioners, and they usually buy it. So
Wow.
it's a great program.
And so, like, how do they purchase it? Is it direct? I'm just wondering, like, because I actually have something in mind. That's why I'm trying to wrap
Sure,
my head
sure.
around this.
So yeah, so it goes through an actual number system.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, you have 10 acres
Hmm.
virgin land that's wetlands.
Right.
So you nominate it to the committee, and then the committee decides, okay, is it worth the county to look at?
Uh-huh.
And then the county goes out and looks at it, and they rate it in a number system.
Okay.
And the higher the number system, the higher chance that the committee will buy it.
Oh,
So anything that's wetlands, anything that has tortoises on it, anything that even uplands that has pine forests and that. And then
yeah.
what's really awesome about it is once the property is purchased, then the property is actually turned back to its natural
Oh, I love
state.
that.
So
Yeah.
all the exotic vegetation is removed, and then there's case studies on the property, and it's just a great program.
Wow.
So a lot of people get frustrated because they talk, oh, Lee County is getting developed so much,
Right.
but we still have almost 40,000 acres now spread all across the county that's preserved.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's nice. Yeah, a nice program.
That's great. Let's talk a little bit about the elementary school because I know that that is near and dear to your heart.
It is. It is. The Bonita Springs Elementary School is our only uh, nationally recognized registered building in Bonita
It's the
Springs.
only one, really?
It's the only one.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And, it was built in two different phases, 1921 and 1927.
Okay.
The original part, 1921, was actually built by the Heitman brothers. And if you do a little history in Lee County, the Heitman family was very, very wealthy, and they're from Fort Myers.
Okay.
And, the Roaring Twenties was occurring, and they found this town called Survey in
Uh-huh.
southern Lee County, and they wanted to turn Survey into the cultural hub of Southwest Florida.
Okay.
And so they actually donated the land and they built the school for the community.
Huh.
And, it's just a wonderful building. And then it was called the Bonita Springs School because
Uh-huh.
it was all grades.
Right.
And then in 1927, as the town started to grow, they had to build the two-story part, which became later the middle school and high school.
Okay.
and it's just worth trying to save
Definitely.
for sure.
Yeah. So, what can people do to help?
Well, the biggest thing they can do is go to change.org,
Okay.
and you can click on the right side and search and type in Bonita Springs. You'll see the petition. As of this morning, we're just over 1,100 signatures.
Okay. How
The,
many are you aiming for?
as many as we can get.
Of course, of course.
uh, Council would like to see about 1,500.
Okay.
But what's unique about these signatures is these are organic. This is not going door to door.
Uh-huh.
These are, residents concerned going to the website
Okay.
of change.org and actually signing the petition.
Okay.
And there has been some momentum uh, with some of the school board members to reconsider possibly either saving the facade or possibly even I've heard rumors of deeding the buildings to the community. So I'm still actively trying to preserve it the best that we can.
Okay.
Actually, this evening at the school board meeting, there's actually a group of us going up to Lee County School Board to talk
Oh,
under public comment
okay.
to try and show the voice of the people. Bonita don't want these buildings to come down.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Yeah, it's very important. Um, you're also involved in a DRGR. So for those of us that don't know what that means,
Yeah. So back in the day, the founders, I wouldn't say the founders, but the leadership of the time, so you're looking at like the late 80s, early 90s, realized that Lee County was going to explode population wise.
okay.
So they formed this zone called the DRGR, which is density reduction groundwater resources,
Uh-huh.
which basically means that all the land east of I-75 would be reduced in density so that we can get our aquifers replenished properly.
Hmm.
Uh, Unfortunately, as time progressed, leadership kind of changed in a way that they said, well, geez, there's all this farmland
Yeah.
that's been disturbed. We can develop it. And
Right.
so they've kind of changed their focus on the DRGR, and it's actually kind of an open market now
Oh,
for development.
it is.
It is.
Huh.
So that's where Conservation 2020 is getting involved
Right.
to try and get as many properties as we can to get nominated and hopefully get purchased
Yeah.
so that we can at least create some kind of wildlife corridor,
Exactly.
connect it to Crew, which I have to give a shout out to Ben Nelson, who is one of our best mayors in the history of Bonita Springs, because he actually set up Crew,
Oh, okay.
which is on the east side of Bonita. If he had not done that, majority of that land would have already been developed.
Wow.
So he did he saw the foresight on that,
Yeah.
got Crew involved. And so, if you think of Crew on the east side of Bonita, that connects to Big Cypress Preserve.
Yeah. Right.
So all of that area there will always be
Good.
natural,
Good.
which
Yeah.
is important.
Yeah. How long have you been in Bonita Springs?
Well, I was born in Naples. I
Okay.
won't say what year.
That's fine.
I'm a true Venetian.
Yay.
My grandparents, they moved to Bonita in the 1950s.
Uh-huh.
And all my mom's family, for the most part, is still here. My father's side, they came here in the '60s from Cuba.
Really?
Yeah, and they moved to Naples.
Oh,
They didn't
wow.
like the whole Miami
They didn't
vibe.
like
No,
Miami vibe.
no.
Who doesn't like Calle Ocho?
I know. I love Calio. Give me some rice and beans and some fried bananas. I'm good. You have to like the roast pork too. Oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
gosh,
I
it's so
know.
good.
I know. Yeah. But the one thing I don't like is all the Miami traffic, though. That's why
Yeah,
it's good to
yeah.
go over there for like a day trip
But
and then
I
come
mean,
right back
if
home.
you have not been to Miami recently, I mean, the city is just blossoming. All the major corporations relocating there,
Yeah.
all the shopping and the restaurants are just fabulous.
Yeah. It is.
Miami's a nice little destination to get away.
It really is, and it's so
Sure is.
close. It's
It
like I
is.
said, it's nice to go there and then
Yeah.
come right back home.
Hmm.
So let's see, what else do we have coming on up for the holidays?
Well, this Saturday, December 14th, is the Bonita Springs Christmas Boat Parade.
Okay.
It is a tradition that stems back 40 years.
Uh-huh.
And
Older than you.
well, I wish. The boat parade is a tradition that was started by the Carl Johnson family, the Weeks family, and actually my grandfather helped back in the day uh, contribute to it as well. And it's just a great way to have holiday cheer.
Uh-huh.
Um, and historically we had anywhere between 15 to 40 boats. I understand there's a lot of hurricanes and everything that we've had
Yeah.
occur on the river,
Recently, yeah.
but it is still safe to navigate. And
So for those people that are new or
mhm.
aren't aware of it, what can you share the route or
Yeah,
a
so the
good
route.
spot to go to watch it?
Yeah, so for the public, the best places to watch is on the new 41 bridge.
Uh-huh.
You're going to want to be on the west side.
Okay.
So when the boats come up the river, you can see them. And also at the Imperial River boat ramp,
Yeah.
which is the north side of US 41.
Right.
Right before you go over the bridge, if you're coming south from Naples, it's a little turn
I love that little
to the
spot.
right.
I put my kayak in there a lot.
Yeah. And, historically, several thousand people come
Really?
and watch it. And I know this year, with all the storms and that, there probably won't be a lot of parties along the river,
Hmm.
but it is a tradition. A lot of people have their Christmas parties,
Yeah.
watching the boat parade,
Right.
and it's just a nice community event. My family had actually been a part of it for many, many years and actually ran the boat parade
Oh,
up to well, a year and a half ago. Uh, they couldn't do it anymore because of insurance reasons. So the Bonita Springs Historical Society kind of took it on
okay.
to as part of our mission to preserve, protect, and promote the history of Bonita Springs. So it aligned perfectly to our mission.
Yeah.
And so this is our second year doing
I
it.
really didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's the more
And
you know.
yeah, right. And what was so interesting is last year we were the first ones to reactivate a boat parade, and it got so much publicity all over the state and even all over the
Really?
country because it just showed how resilient our community
Yeah,
is to storms.
that's true.
And we wanted to continue on,
Yeah.
and that was a great experience
Yeah.
for the society and for Bonita.
Right, right. Yeah. When you ran for mayor, what's the funniest or most unexpected thing someone said to you while campaigning?
Oh, geez. Well, I will tell this one story.
Okay.
So, door knocked on this gentleman's door, and he came out, and he was extremely excited to meet me in person. Which
Yeah.
it was really, really interesting, and I mean, I just was overjoyed by it.
Yeah.
And he said, I have to tell you this story, and I was like, well, what is the story? He's like, when the hurricane came, your signs are the only ones that made it. And I told him, well, I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, because the hurricane came and everyone else's signs blew apart, but yours are still there. The gentleman didn't realize that the night before the hurricane, I
Yeah.
was out there taking the signs down
Uh-huh.
because I didn't want them to get destroyed or pollute.
Sure.
And then the next morning, right after the
You
hurricane,
put him
I
right
put
back
them
up.
back up. So my opponents didn't do that.
Uh-huh.
They had taken them down before, and
Yeah.
it took like a week or two
Wild to
for
get
them
him
to put
up.
them back. So he thought it was like divine intervention. And if he's hearing this, uh, to say, I'm just going to tell him, thank you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty funny story. I mean, he just believed that those signs stood up against all that wind, which
Right.
was,
Right. Divine
that was
intervention.
right, right.
How does the door knocking feel for you? Because as a realtor, I do some door knocking also,
You
and
know, I think that was the most rewarding aspect of running for mayor.
yeah.
I really, truly enjoyed meeting my fellow Venetians,
Right.
hearing what they liked, what they
Hmm.
disliked, hearing if they supported me or not.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of democracy. But I really enjoyed listening to the issues of the people,
Yeah.
and it really aligned me to realize that there is a lot more going on
There is.
than you can just see on the face surface level of
It's
Bonita.
so true.
Well, I think people in the era that we live in,
Yeah.
and I see this, pertaining to the historical society, pertaining to Conservation 2020, the school. I think that we rely on social media, multimedia too
I
much,
think so too.
and
Right.
we lose the element of that, personal human contact.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you
Absolutely.
know, because you can put a post out there, and you can. you can comment negative or positive to someone else's post, but would you say the same thing
In
in
person.
person?
No, you wouldn't.
Or would you be as active in person?
Right.
You know, like for instance, like the elementary school.
Yeah.
I put out a community town hall, and it was out there for a couple of weeks. And a population of Bonita Springs is right around 60,000 now, and only 15 residents showed up.
Really.
But yet, on change.org, you know, there's over 1,100 signatures and over 10,000 people, that are watching the progress of what's
Yeah.
going to happen to the school.
Right.
So where are we losing that connection?
Right.
You know, honestly, that meeting should have been packed.
Yeah, it should have.
And I get it; it was a holiday weekend,
Hmm.
but I think that we lose that connection. And a lot of things, and then we can become more frustrated because we see a lot of people like what we like, but nothing's changing. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
but I think that connection, like with
Personal
personal
connection.
connection,
Yeah.
introducing yourself,
Right.
and the worst thing that can happen is slam the door in your face.
Right. Right.
And I
On to the
experienced
next.
that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just part of life. And I think a lot of people, maybe they're scared of that rejection
Right.
and they feel better on social media.
Yeah.
But I think we need to get back to the basics
We
of it.
do. We
Yeah,
absolutely do. And that's what community is all about,
that's absolutely
And
right.
that's one thing everybody do. All of my guests, doesn't matter, who I've had on the podcast, it's all they talk about is, that sense of community, the
Right.
Bonita Springs, we just had the winter holiday in the
Right.
park and the Halloween thing and people just love it. They're
They do.
just like,
They do.
our little Bonita Springs and we just feel like a community. So yeah, so you're absolutely right. We need to get back to that. So you're involved in all these projects. Do you sleep?
Sometimes I question that myself. And a lot of people ask me this question. I'm like, why do you do this?
Yeah.
Why are you so passionate about Bonita and what you envision for Bonita? And for the longest time growing up here, Bonita has always been kind of second to Fort Myers,
Yeah.
maybe third to Naples.
Right.
And I just see kind of like the Heitmans did back in the early 20s when they said, this should be the cultural center of Southwest Florida. I mean, geographically, it
Right.
should be. We have such beautiful natural resources here with the Estero Bay,
Yeah.
Bonita Beach. I'll say Barefoot Beach, even though it's in Collier County.
Yeah.
We'll still claim that. We have Lovers Key State Park,
Yes.
and uh,
The
I,
dog beach.
the dog beach, the dog park.
Yeah.
Uh, when I
That's
was,
a fabulous park.
it is when
Whose
I was.
idea was that to put the large dogs and the medium dogs and then the small dogs?
I'm not quite sure, but I
I
think a
d-
lot of Venetians would like to know. I mean, there's people driving from South Naples, East Naples, San Carlos Park, Estero to come to this dog park.
it's a great park.
And I didn't realize that until I ran for mayor. Just
Really?
walking
You don't have a
around.
dog.
No, I don't. Just walking around, introducing myself and asking where they lived. And majority of the people come from other parts of Southwest Florida to come to that dog park. They
Yeah,
just absolutely love it.
it is.
And it's a great asset to
It is.
Bonita.
And talk about community.
Right.
I bring my dogs there every Sunday and it's always that same group with their coffees and their dogs and
Mm-hmm.
it's a great gathering
It is.
place.
It
Yeah.
is.
Okay. So if we got to talk about, another holiday. If Bonita Springs could get one Christmas gift from Santa, what should it be?
Oh, geez. That's a good question.
What would you wish for Bonita Springs?
How about no more hurricanes?
Yes, yes. Or tropical storms or
Yes.
yeah, it
You
seems like we
know,
were bullseye here.
it. We can't take another one.
No.
We really can't.
Yeah.
Especially for our beach neighbors,
Yeah.
and our neighbors up the river.
Right. And the
It's,
businesses that are down the
well,
water.
just my family's business.
Yeah.
Baywater Boat
Right.
Club. What's that used to be my grandparents' residence,
Oh,
back in the day.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they lived there from 1978 all the way to, uh, well, they passed away, but my grandmother was there till the early 2000s,
What a great spot right
and
there.
the water never once went over the seawall. And then, family builds this business, and then over the last, you know, what, 24 years or
Yeah.
so. I mean, it's flooded almost every time we have a hurricane.
Yeah.
And you get to a point to where, when is this going to stop? And I know that's Mother Nature, and
Yeah.
we don't have a magic wand to stop it.
No.
But if that was one wish from Santa,
Yeah.
please bring it to us.
We would need another 25-year span where we don't have anything touch
Let's hope
us.
so. Let's hope
I
so.
don't, because I've lived here off and on, and I, the last few times, a couple times I'll say that I lived here. I mean, we had a tropical storm or two, but nothing
Yeah.
like this,
It's just the surges. The surge. I mean, the wind
that's,
and the rain is not that big of a deal.
no,
I mean, that's like a big summertime thunderstorm that we
right.
get here in the summertime.
Yeah.
But those surges are just repetitive, and it does seem like they are getting worse.
Yeah. Well,
So
everyone, I can tell you absolutely every 100% of everyone was devastated when they woke up and saw Fort Myers Beach
oh yeah,
just
yeah,
leveled,
it's
gone.
it's it's
And
terrible.
like I've been coming down here since I was 9. I got married down there.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, I've got big history down on Fort Myers
sure.
Beach, and I just disbelief, shock and disbelief. So, but they're doing a good job rebuilding down
Yeah,
there.
just the whole way that island is set up is just like a bullseye
Yeah.
for that surge.
Yeah.
It gets piled up in the Gulf, and that island, the way it's curved, it just
Exactly.
pushes it right on
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and it's a shame. It
Yeah,
really
it
is.
really is. Yeah. So, but you know what? We're resilient. We bounce back. And
That's
again,
right.
community. I mean, after Ian, what were we doing? We were all driving around going, how can I help? How can I help? What can I
Sure.
do? Can I bring you some food? Can I get a shovel and help?
Hmm.
Put on some gloves and some work clothes and, just get to work. So, I
And it's
saw,
good that the county is renourishing the beaches like they are.
yeah,
That
yeah,
I mean, that's the first buffer.
right.
And you know, the Conservancy of Southwest Florida has an excellent plan for resiliency against a resilient plan against hurricanes. And I really do hope that Lee County will embrace that plan, because I think that it would really help our beach communities.
Yeah.
You know,
Now, I know that a lot of people don't know the difference between Bonita Springs and their say so or whatever over the beaches, and then Lee County's say so over the beaches, because we did an episode about dogs on the beach, and they said,
right,
well, dogs are allowed in all of Lee County. Well, no, they're not. They're not allowed here. They're not allowed there. And
right.
so,
Unfortunately, Bonita Beach is kind of chopped up.
yeah, there's no like
So,
distinct.
right.
There's no like a sign in the sand that
So
says now
pretty,
you're on a Lee County beach. Now you're
right.
on
So
a.
I tell everyone, if it is a park on the beach, that's county.
Okay.
Or if it's a golf access point,
Uh huh.
that's county.
Okay.
So properties that are private, that's going to be Bonita.
Uh huh.
The road, Hickory Boulevard,
Yeah.
is not Bonita.
It's not.
No,
It's
it's
Lee
county.
County. Huh.
And it's the same with the sidewalks.
Oh.
So
See, and I wasn't even aware of
yeah,
that.
it's kind of a mix up there somehow.
Right.
I'm not sure why, when Bonita was founded, second term in 1999, why the city fathers didn't just say, just give us all that.
Right.
I think that would have been better for the community,
Exactly.
because of the misinformation and confusion.
Hmm.
And the people that live along Hickory Boulevard, they pay a lot of property tax,
Yes.
and they deserve to have their sidewalks nice and the
Yes.
beaches nice, and
Exactly.
just because, and that's our gateway to our community.
It is.
It used to be, when I was a little kid, there was a sign when Bonita became a city. It said Gateway to the Gulf.
Yeah, I have a picture of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of people should know that that is the shortest distance from I-75 directly to the Gulf of
We're
Mexico.
so spoiled.
We are.
We are, because
We are.
I have friends that live, well, north of here or south of here, Naples or Venice, or, and it's like, gosh, it's such a long, when you get off I-75, it's just such a long drive to get to
Right.
the beach. And I'm like,
Hmm.
not for me.
No, it's a straight shot. You
So
actually end
it's
up in
like
a park.
6 to 8 miles, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, it's I believe it's a
Right
little
from
less than 6 miles.
75 to the
Yeah,
beach. Yeah,
and it's a direct shot.
it is. Yeah.
And that's why the town came up with the slogan "Gateway to the Gulf," which I thought was beautiful when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow, that's so fascinating," and then I found out that it is the shortest distance. So I was like, "Okay, makes
Yeah.
sense."
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure having you
Thank
on.
you.
I really learned a lot. I hope everyone else did too. And so we'll see you next time on Bonita Buzz. Thank you.